Tampa Bay Buccaneers are plus 3.5 at the Green Bay Packers. What are you going to do?
I'm taking the Packers. I like the Packers to win this game. I like the Packers to cover this game. MVP of the league at home. First time the Packers in the Aaron Rodgers tenure have ever hosted an NFC Championship game.
Amazing.
R.I.P. to Ted Thompson, the guy that drafted Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Kenny Clark, Aaron Jones, some of the best players. I mean, obviously the best players on their team. Now, it's not going to be a full house. I would imagine if it was, they would have like a moment. The place would be, they'd be handing out like Ted Thompson towels, you know? He's in, I think I saw today he got put in the Ring of Honor like last year. Like, I mean, he's a pretty important figure in the history of the franchise, right? And now, you know, Gutekunst had worked for him. That has nothing necessarily to do with the game, but I think there's going to be just, you're playing Brady. It's in Lambeau. It's going to be cold as shit, which won't faze Brady, but the rest of the guys, like, I don't know. I actually think the more and more I think about it, Green Bay's going to win the whole thing. Like, this is just their year. It broke perfectly. We used to talk about this with Peyton Manning. No one in 15, 20 years, hell, I don't even think people now like remember how shitty he was that last year. He's like, yeah, he won a couple Super Bowls. He was one of the all-time greats. That's how Aaron Rodgers' career, like, Aaron's only been to one Super Bowl. That to me is pretty crazy.
Yeah. I think before the playoffs started, my pick was Packers over Bills in the Super Bowl. And as it relates to the NFC, I still feel that way. I do think the Packers win the Super Bowl. I do think they cover against the Bucs. Like you said, it's hard to go against Brady in the cold because Brady can handle the cold, but there's a whole other team there with them. And the Bucs kicked their butt the first time they played. Although I thought that game was a little, I don't want to say
Packers up 10-0, and then
the Packers were up, and then it just unraveled so fast on them.
Threw a pick six.
Yeah, it got really weird really quickly. Here's what I thought over the course of the year. There were two 13-win teams, the Bills and the Packers, and then the Chiefs won 14 games. I thought to about the
15.
midway point, 15 games. 15 games?
Yeah, 15-1. They had the quietest 15-1 season ever.
I thought to about the midway point, I got them at 14-2.
The Chiefs?
Yeah.
I thought the Chiefs won
15.
15.
Loss, though. Anyway, you look that up. I thought to about the midway point, just before the midway point of the season, I thought the Steelers looked at many times like the best team in the league. Then they lost Bud Dupree. The reason I like the Packers is I think over the course of the year, they have most consistently looked like the most dominant team. The Chiefs have sometimes looked that way. Obviously, the Bills have looked that way. The Bucs at times have looked that way. I think the Packers have most often looked like the most dominant team in the league. That's why I'm picking them this week. Do you know what the Chiefs' record was?
You're right. They benched Mahomes. They benched all their players the last game of the season, and they got beat by the Herbert and the Chargers.
I do not remember that.
Yeah, well, no one does because nobody was watching. So
Anthony Lynn's agent was like, "Hey,
I have been openly talking to you, to everywhere, like just tweeting like they're a 15-1 team, and no one's ever pushed back."
But you know what?
So.
You know what that's like? It's like when you say Peyton Manning won 2 Super Bowls. The reason we don't go, yeah, but he looked bad at the end, is because when you watched his career, I at least felt like that's a guy who should have 2 Super Bowls. He's better than just a 1 Super Bowl quarterback. Rodgers is the same way. The Chiefs this year probably were the same way. But that's why I'm taking the Packers.
Well, they win this game and they get to the Super Bowl, which I think they have a decent chance. If they were to win this game, let's say they win it by pretty handily. Let's say they win it by 14-plus points, and they're just in complete control. And the Chiefs-Bills game, whoever the winner is, let's say it's the Chiefs, but they barely win. Are the Packers favored in the Super Bowl?
Yes.
I would think so too.
But I think it's like you brought this up before.
The way they
like a point,
yeah,
a point and a half. So we agree then. I think we agree that the Bucs winning would be more surprising than whoever we think the underdog is in the AFC Championship game. Vegas says it's the Bills. They're +3 at the Chiefs. I'm taking the Bills and the points here. I don't feel fantastic that they win this game. I don't love.
So you feel better. You feel better taking the Bills points than the Bucs points.
I do. Yeah. Do you?
I agree. Yes.
Part of this.
I
sometimes
really quick back to the Packer game.
Yeah.
On mybookie.ag promo code HAM1, -3.5 for the Packers is even money. So usually you got to pay the vig, right? For 3, it's like minus 110. You bet 100, you win 100. If now that half point is sometimes big, right? But I like the Packers to win by a touchdown plus. So you can get 1-1 for them just to win, to cover the 3.5. I think that's pretty good odds. Or when you look at the Packers or the Bills and Chiefs, it's minus 110 and they're 3, right?
Minus 110 and they're 3. Yeah. Yep.
So
So
I'm with you. I feel more comfortable with Josh Allen and just the Bills operation at the Chiefs than I do the Bucs at the Packers, which is crazy to say. Like, you're more confident in Josh Allen than Tom, but it's about the others more than Tom. Like, obviously I'm confident in Tom. Like, I'm not Tom's the least of my worries. It's more like Bruce and fucking Mike Evans getting hurt, and all of a sudden like their defense isn't quite as good, and Ndamukong Suh. Remember Ndamukong and Aaron have had the thing over the years where he like stepped on his ankle and they hate each other or whatever. I saw that. I was watching some of his interview with McAfee, and they asked him, and Rodgers like, yeah, I mean, I kind of shrugged it off, but you can tell he hates him.
he literally shrugs everything off, kinda.
Yeah.
Like in like a, I don't think about it.
Yeah, I don't think about it. He's just a
He's
dick.
always like this. Why is he talking to McAfee like this? Good get by McAfee.
Is that a wall outside in
don't
like
know.
his villa?
Part of it is I feel better about the Packers than I do about the Chiefs. That's a part of it for me too. I feel better about the Packers than I do about any of these 4.
Wouldn't it be disappointing? I've thought a lot about this week. The Chiefs 3 straight championship games, all at home. Now, the devastating loss, I think, has aged well to Brady, right? It sucked to lose with D Ford, but you did lose to Belichick and Brady.
It helps
So
that you won the Super Bowl the next year.
It definitely helps. And where it probably hurts when you look back, you're like, God, we would have kicked the Rams' ass. Like, there's a decent chance. Would we be going for like 3 straight right now? But you're not. You're actually just going for 2 straight, and all of a sudden you lose this, and you've lost 2 of the last 3 championship games. You go, God, we're the greatest offense. All these players are healthy, and we're wasting our shot.
Yeah.
I think they're like, you can lose to Brady or Rodgers in the Super Bowl. It's like, we went to back-to-back Super Bowls. We won 1. We lost to Brady or Rodgers. It's easier to stomach than like, God, we only got to 1 Super Bowl. At least you get to do a Super Bowl. You can lose Super Bowls. Ask Tom. Like, it's okay. You just got to get there a couple times. And you've already won the 1. To me, there is some pressure on the Chiefs just to win this game, just for the resume, right? And he's lost a lot of championship games.
He has, but he's played in a lot of them. I mean,
I know.
He's
I'm not
coached in
diminishing.
4 Super Bowls now?
No, he's coached. No, he's only been, if he gets this, would be his 3rd. He only went to 1 in Philly, and he's only gotten to 1 in Kansas City. So he's trying to get to his 3rd as a head coach. I think he went with Favre.
All the Packers.
So it's like
Niners.
The Niners.
Am I giving him credit for being Mooch?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just
Should have
wonder.
been a Niner.
Like, the one thing his Super Bowl loss to the Patriots, it was to the Patriots, right? You didn't, you lost to Brad Johnson or whatever. Like, you lost to the Patriots. Some of his devastating losses have been to Super Bowl champions. This one, like, you're just better than the Bills, even though they're good. You got to win this game. Then, to me, the Super Bowl, whatever, coin flip. I'm not saying you feel good about losing the Super Bowl, but it'll age okay. Like, yeah, Rodgers won the MVP. He was the best player in the league, and he beat us by 7 or whatever.
Right. Yep.
Now, it's not crazy. Like, if I just told you Mahomes is healthy and they just win these next 2 games by 10 plus, so it's not.
Take it to another level.
They do have the talent.
That's what's crazy with all of these is it feels like you're this close. Like, the Bills are this close to Josh Allen being a Super Bowl champion, and it takes to another level. Aaron's this close to getting number 2, and now you can more freely say, like, maybe he is the best. You would start Tom wins, and it's like, oh my God, he's just stepping on everybody's throat. Is he the greatest of all time in any sport? And
Chiefs would be on one of the great 3-year runs ever.
Oh my God, if Patrick Mahomes and Andy win it, I feel like, remember that $450 million contract we signed? Thank God we signed it, because it'd be more expensive now.
Who has more to gain, the Chiefs or Rodgers? Because Brady doesn't really have. I mean, what is he going to add? It'd be like, yeah, Bezos got richer. It's like Brady won.
Man, I mean, I feel like we talk about Aaron like he's one of the greats anyway.
I agree.
To me, Mahomes, because Mahomes, we already give it to him. But if he didn't win another champ, you know what I mean? Like, if they didn't get back to another Super Bowl, 8 years from now, we look back and go, What could have been? We thought you had like Mahomes could become the greatest of all time, and he won a championship. You win too early. Like, to me, remember when Russell Wilson was about to win his second, and in the end, Russell's still Hall of Fame.
But
the whole
like,
thing's fine.
Rodgers, when you really dive into it, it's like, well, we talk about him like he's Elway or Marino. I get Marino's a bad example, or Manning. But part of Manning, he had a hollowness to his career for a while. Mahomes could just bank the two. One of the things Brady has had in his back pocket forever, and you forget about, before the Patriots had Spygate, Deflategate, any fucking weird gate, he had banked 3 and 4 years.
Yeah.
And it's so long ago, but like he had that money in the bank by 06. Like, yeah, I'm a 3-time champ.
Yeah.
And then it just rolls.
So
Mahomes, for the league, I think, because Rodgers is already Rodgers, you would want Mahomes because then he just becomes an epic legend at 25.
Yeah, and exactly. He becomes the other part of it is part of
like the untouchable star.
Like, because then you can start having conversations like, could he chase down Tom?
Yeah.
Part of it, and he's young enough.
They're gonna lose Tom in the next year or two.
The NFL, right?
Yeah.
Part of it, when we talk about what you have to gain, is like what comes next if you win this one. Like, if you win this one, could Aaron win a third? If he wins this one, could Mahomes win 4 or 5? Right. So, but you got to win number 2 before you can get. Now it's like Russell almost won number 2, and now he's probably not going to get another one.
Well, if the Chiefs or Packers win it, and Mahomes or Rodgers have 2, they are the betting favorite going into next year. And whoever were to lose that game, if it's Chiefs Packers, would be like those 2 would be the best teams, right? They're gonna be the best teams in 2021, the fall, viewed that way, right? Like those 2 teams, probably even more than Brady and the Bucs, because I think a lot of people look at Brady and the Bucs like a little loosey goosey, and they're good. I mean, they're going to be in the mix, but how are the Packers and Chiefs just not going to be the 2 best teams next year? Mahomes has so much longer in his career. Rodgers does, like, it's like he's old. Well, Brady was 37 like 7 years ago. Right? Why couldn't Rodgers go on a run right now? Like you said, that you win 2. Could he win 3? Could he win like 2 of the next 3? And all of a sudden, like when the dust settles, like, God, you remember when Rodgers went to 4 Super Bowls and won 3 of them?
Yeah, I mean, part of this is, I think part of that is this just Aaron, or are we going to look back in 10 years and go, you know what? We didn't give LaFleur enough credit. We gave Aaron all the credit. It turns out he's got, like, does he have Sean Payton? Does he have one of the best coaches in the NFL? Is it going to turn out? Because if so, then maybe he does have that chance. If it's just him carrying LaFleur when Aaron retire, you know what I mean? Like, there's no doubt that Drew Brees is going to leave. Peyton is going to have to find somebody else, but Sean Payton's still going to be a very high-level NFL coach.
Well, we see him kick people's asses when Drew gets hurt.
If LaFleur is that, then maybe he, maybe Rodgers can do it. Maybe they can win. Like, it's hard to me to win like multiples if it's not the whole thing is firing.
I agree.
So
that's why I think you'd go the Chiefs and Andy got a good shot to just win some, right?
He's one of the best coaches and he's one of the best quarterbacks.
But do you think it's unfair? Because I've thought a lot about LaFleur. When he first got hired, I was like, I don't know. 2 years later, it's hard to dispute. But then you go, well, he did inherit this all-time great quarterback who was going through a rough stretch, and by his second year, he became a great player again. LaFleur gets credit, but any solid coach can deal with an all-time great player and just have a mix.
But see,
plus,
I don't agree.
But I'm leaning that I think LaFleur's pretty good. My point is, I think LaFleur's just a good McVay, Kyle. Like, he's legit.
You just reminded me of
he benefits. Those guys can't relate. He does have Aaron Rodgers. Like, if I gave McVay or Kyle Aaron Rodgers, they would kill people.
You just reminded me of a take that I was really proud of one day that we did a podcast where the audio got lost and we never redid it. He gets a ton of credit. He should get a ton of credit. Like, just like Phil Jackson should get a ton of credit for working with the egos that he worked with. Aaron did not want – it's not like Aaron picked Matt LaFleur to be his coach. Aaron didn't want him. Then Matt was like, here, man, this is what we're going to do. And Aaron's like, nope, I don't want to do it. And he still got through to him. That's half of coaching.
Yeah.
It's more than half of coaching. Right. It's getting the person you're teaching to receive the message.
You could argue what makes this MVP season so impressive is that last year, despite what was weird about last year is they had success.
Yeah.
I know it ended poorly, but a lot of teams would sign up to get blown out in the NFC Championship game, right? That means fucking it went pretty well and host a playoff game. It was pretty rocky between those two, and it was weird. And this year, and one thing Rodgers said that I saw kind of went viral, and I just went back and watched the interview. He's like, yeah, I'm just a lot happier this year. And whether that's LaFleur, and it didn't start happy because remember the quotes a couple days after the draft was like, people close to Aaron, he's incensed, he's mad. And it wasn't like this feels fake. Like, yeah, I'd probably be too. Like, it was understandable.
Right.
And clearly they are just one thing when I've seen Matt LaFleur talk, like Kyle and like McVay, I think he's a smart guy. Like, I just think he's a pretty high level young guy. Like, if he wasn't coaching, I think he'd be successful in other industries, which can't be said for every football coach. And CC Mike McCarthy, which I think Aaron would tell you, is I think that helped. And ultimately, Aaron, but it's not, even if you are a smart guy, it can be difficult to get a guy who's above you to ultimately respect you. So to your point, like, it is impressive that he bridged that gap somehow, especially relationship wasn't great. Then you put kind of like a weird thing in the middle of that relationship the year after with the quarterback draft pick, and to still be able to overcome it. And the guy just embraced your offense and then wins the MVP. Like, it was, now Aaron goes, the best thing I ever did was listen to this guy. Right?
Yep.
Changed my career. Honestly,
Extended
if Aaron's smart, and I bet LaFleur's saying, you buy in, you fucking Tom Brady, we might not be able to get to 6, but we might be able to get to 4.
Right.
No one can hold your jock for the next 3 or 4 years.
You could, if you just use a first round pick on fucking anybody but the backup quarterback, maybe we'd have some better players around here.
Don't worry, we'll do it this year.